Hey guys, Kevin, Muddy River Tactical. Thank you for joining me. Today we have the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. So back in 2012, the original Shield came out and really truly transformed the concealed carry market with the single stack version of their original Shield. At the time, there's nothing that competed with it, and for years it was almost the undisputed king for concealed carry. Then in 2018, Sig Sauer brought out the Sig P365 and totally dethroned the single stack guns for concealed carry and went with the double stack mags that were still small and compact, actually smaller than what the Shield was. So that was the main complaint with single stack guns is, yeah, they're small, they get, narrow and easy to conceal, but you lose a lot of round capacity. In a real gunfight situation, 6, 7, 8 rounds really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. So people are always wanting more rounds. The Sig 365 achieved that, and its following went crazy. A lot of customers that were Shield carriers went to the Sig 365 because of that. And then in 2019, the Springfield Hellcat came out, which was the same type of thing after the Sig 365, double stack, it held 10, 12 rounds, whatever it holds right there, and was still a small gun. So those two guns kind of held the market for a couple of years without Smith & Wesson really having a rebuttal to it. So in 2021, Smith & Wesson came out with the Shield Plus, which brings you 13+1 and 11+1 magazines, and they're double stacked with a single stack feed at the top. So this keeps the gun narrow and really about the same size as the original Shield, but with the extra round capacity that everybody was after. So when this came on the market, then it kind of leveled everything back out. The issue is, to be honest with you, and it's the reason I'm just now reviewing this gun, and actually this is the first time I shot the Shield Plus, is because the other, Sig 365 and Hellcat were so far ahead of it, kind of like the original Shield was in 2012, that it's hard for people to look at it because they were almost chasing Sig and the Hellcat at that point. So I've got my hands on it now and definitely excited to shoot it. So these guns are, like I said, designed for concealed carry. It's a little over 1 inch wide. It's almost identical to the Shield, the original Shield frame. So in my opinion, it's a really good size. With the flush mag in it, it's a lot shorter here, which is what you really want in concealed carry. The length here with the grip is what gets hard for most people to conceal. So with that flush mag in there, it just makes it easier. Size-wise, the Shield is barely bigger than the Hellcat or the Sig 365, the original Sig 365. However, in my opinion, I kind of like the size of it a lot because I carry a Sig 365 still to this day. As of right now, I have a 365 on, but the size of it is a tad small, absolutely perfect for concealed carry, but as far as shootability, it lacks a little bit because of how small it is. So this is barely bigger, and I found why shooting it, this Shield Plus has way more shootability than what the Sig 365 does. Well, now Sig has the 365X and different things that would kind of match up to this, but as far as the original 365 that the Shield Plus is kind of taking the market for, that's the main factor in it. You want a gun that's concealable but shootable as well. So in my opinion, this is a good in-between. Like we said, it has 11+1 magazine, or I'm sorry, a 10+1 magazine, and then a 13+1 magazine that comes with it. So it comes with those two mags. The barrel length is 3.1 inches and is a polymer frame and striker fired pistol, and weighs in at only 20 ounces. So the weight of this gun is really good. It's a little heavier than the 365 by an ounce or two, but I find it to be very well balanced and makes this gun shoot very well. So like I said, this is the first time I've shot this gun. Been carrying Sig 365, shot the Hellcat a lot. This gun is extremely shootable, and it really surprised me and kind of made me wonder why I waited so long to shoot it. So I think they've done a very good job with just the overall weight, size compromise there. The sights on it are your traditional 3-dot white sights from Smith & Wesson. The sights work pretty good. They're not the greatest by any means, but there is different models of this gun. So this one's not optic cut. They have performance centers. They got the ones that are ready for optics. There's a whole bunch of different variants on it. So yours may come with night sights or may not, but those are easy to switch. So on this particular one, if I was keeping it, I'd switch it to night sights for sure. The ergonomics and texturing on this gun are very good as well. So this is made for concealed carry. So they've done a very good job of keeping the texturing aggressive, but still smooth enough to be when this is against your skin on the inside the waistband holster to keep it from irritating your skin too much. So I think they did a great job on that. They stopped the texture here, so there's no texture up here. However, this polymer frame is kind of barely, I wouldn't even say textured, but I guess it would be barely textured compared to where a Sig 365 in this area up here is totally smooth. So it does give you a little bit of grip there. So I found it to be really nice, and this bottom texturing is just aggressive enough that even with the flush mag, you can see I got my bottom fingers not on it. With the extended mag, it's full purchase, but there I'm just missing that one finger. But even with that, I found this gun to be very controllable and shootable. It shot very good. And the trigger on this gun would be the biggest thing that I was surprised on. Smith & Wesson's over the years, and the original Shield, I was never really a fan of per se because of the trigger. And I carried a Shield for a long time. Like I said, when they first came out, they were the thing to beat for sure. And actually a funny story is when I think of Shield, I think about starting our holster company, because the first ever holster we made as a holster company was for the Shield. So the first CNC machine molds that we made were for Shield. So I still have that original gun, and we'll always keep that gun just because it's kind of what we modeled our holsters off of, and it's how we got started to begin with. But back to the trigger. The trigger on this, they have fully updated, and to my surprise, because I'm not a super Smith & Wesson trigger fan, this trigger is very good for a concealed carry gun. The reset, and then smooth wall, and then just a really good break. I mean, there's better triggers out there, but for a concealed carry pistol, this trigger is really good. And as far as Smith & Wesson goes, it's my favorite trigger they've had out of a Smith & Wesson by a long shot. Reliability on this gun would be just what you'd expect. We've shot about 700 rounds through this gun at this point and had zero issues in the world, and I don't expect any issues to come. The original Shield that I was talking about that I still have, I have 5,000 or 6,000 rounds through that gun and never had an issue with it either. So I think all that, you're good to go. Accuracy on this gun really surprised me as well, because the original Shield shot okay and nothing wrong with it, but I found it to be, a 3.1 inch barrel. This is a close quarter gun. It's a 10, 15 yards, 20 yard gun at the most. Most self-defense situations happen in 5 to 7 yards. So for that, it's more than adequate. But just to test it out, I shot this gun at 50 yards and I was having no issues hitting, and it's actually really good to shoot, and especially with just stock sights, it was a true pleasure. So overall, I mean, for these pistols now are down to about $399 in most places. It's a lot of value for that money. There's very few pistols that even compete with it. The two competitors in the Sig and Hellcat, they're both significantly higher. So overall, if you're in the market for a concealed carry pistol, don't overlook the Smith & Wesson like I did for a long time. It's a very viable option. And to my surprise, like I said, I'm not a super Smith & Wesson fan, nothing against them. I just always found better options. This gun shoots very well, and in my opinion is probably the best budget micro 9mm there is, because if you go to the Sig or anything else, you're at least $100 more like we talked about, and this gun shoots every bit as good as that. So overall, next time you go to the gun store, if you haven't check out one of these Shield Plus. They shoot really good, they're reliable, and they're just a really good concealed carry size package. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, We're always here to help. And also, if you haven't liked and subscribed to our channel, please hit the like and subscribe button below. We'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps us grow this channel and get it out to more people. So until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.